I'll go live. And we're live. Hey, do you miss me? I was on a little earlier today. We were covering the Sandy Hook case. Did you guys see it? Pretty amazing. Wonder what people think about Sandy Hook. I would take a poll, but regardless, it is quite an attack on free speech. I have to say that, regardless of what you think. But Robbie Dang Parker was on the stand today. Robbie Parker, and they played the video of him smiling and stuff. And they asked him, hey, why'd you smile? And he had a story for it. And people have to decide, if they were watching it, what they think. But if they think a certain way, I can tell you they're not allowed to express themselves. And in the future, maybe it would, like, you really can't hurt people's feelings anymore. That's the future we're going towards. I have a clip of an authoritarian dictator talking about how free speech is actually a weapon of war. This right here, like this show, believe it or not, just what happens here can actually inspire, I don't even know what. Like if I say something, it could have real world consequences. So I'm going to tell you Joe Biden is crazy today. That's, some people say that's disinformation. Joe Biden, I was going to call the show Joe Biden lost it, or he finally, I don't know. It's weird to me the way people react to things, because I don't always know like when something's a big deal, when it isn't. This thing with Joe Biden calling out somebody who's dead, it is a big deal to people. Some of the other weird stuff that he's done apparently isn't a big deal, but for some reason, this particular thing has a lot of traction. So I'll show it to you. And then I titled the show, how's everybody doing? Okay. I titled the show, This is the End Game. And end game comes from chess. It means the part of the game after you've eliminated a lot of the players. The final part, the end game. So that's where we are, I believe. The end game for currencies. The end game for currencies definitely started this year. It's going to end with the final currency, the last one standing. Finally, the US dollar, which will go into probably, I don't know, maybe Bitcoin. I have to say the case for Bitcoin got a lot stronger today. So, and something I predicted came true. And I didn't even realize at first that I predicted it would happen until I thought about it a little bit. But then I was like, oh, that's exactly what I said was going to happen. It totally happened. So I have to say that I was totally right. I said there was going to be a credit crisis and banks were going to start printing money again. And that's what happened. So they didn't let it escalate into a full-blown crisis, I guess, before they started printing money. But the answer today from the UK is printing money. And that's good. And then people think I'll show you the story. And I'll tell you why high interest rates are not good for the future. And we're going to have higher interest rates. And they're already a lot higher. You'll see. You'll see when you go to try to buy a house or something. And the government's going to see when they go to refinance their debt. And then everybody's going to see when the government doesn't have any money anymore to pay for Social Security and stuff like that. So we're just going to print it, and we're just going to have inflation forever. Probably. Like right now, inflation is going down. But it's once the things get uncomfortable then they start printing again. And so we'll probably just have the inflation thing for a long time. I have access to DALL-E. That's news. Want me to play my intro? That's news. DALL-E, the picture generating AI software, is now open to the public. And I did some pictures on there already. I asked it to do a portrait of me so I can show you what that looks like. And I was going to do the show's title. This is the end game. And it'll generate pictures for me. So that's news. Let me find my intro. Let's see. Thanks for tuning in for the show. You can support the show, and I'm going to tell you how. And it's very important. But first, the throwback. Sure. If you ever want to learn how to live stream, I can tell you. I can't tell you how to do it perfectly, though. But they do have these solutions. Okay, here, the show's finally about to start. Come on. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. I bring you the news, the real news. Yes, the real news. So I have the real news about Joe Biden today. I have the real news about what the UK did and why it's the end game for currencies, basically everywhere. We're in it. And then, news about the hurricane as well after the Joe Biden news. And I can show you some videos from the hurricane. And if you want to support the show, I'm looking to set goals for myself. If you want to support the show, because we are demonetized, and it is the only way we get support, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil and leave a message. And I'm hoping for 3 messages today. So you can leave one. Go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil and check it out. And then if you want to check out our t-shirts, go to truthclothing.io and you can leave messages there too. So, and you can do it anytime. I'm going to see if I can get to 3 on this show. Let me show you, the people talking about the end game. Let me show you the supercut of Democrats saying we're going to have a civil war. I should play that for you first. So let me give you that. And I'll show you what Joe Biden is up to.
This means war. That is where we are. We are at war with these people. These folks are evil.
There is an ultra-right MAGA contingent in this country that wants to overthrow the U.S. government.
It is a danger to our democracy. It is a danger to our way of life.
The MAGA movement is a threat.
The extremists that we're dealing with every single day, we've got to kill and confront that movement.
Clearly, this is a literally call to arms.
Obviously, Republicans, I think, are the biggest threat to democracy. We don't separate right-wing extremists and Republican Party anymore.
I see this as a party, a MAGA party that no longer is confident that they can win elections with votes. And so now they're seeking to enact their political will through violence.
This is literally what conservative white folks do when they don't get their way. They turn violent.
Today's GOP is no longer a political movement. It is a fascist movement.
And this is why it could be more dangerous than 1860 or the 1930s.
Clearly, this is a literally call to arms.
Maybe now it is all about the violence. It all is about an insurrection. It all is, in his mind, about a civil war.
It feels like we are not just at the brink of a civil war, but that one has already begun.
The fact that the base is getting smaller, it makes it more dangerous in a lot of ways, because those are the people who are willing to do things like take up arms and press the questions and tactics that lead to civil war.
This is someone who held that office, who is basically saying to Americans, there should be civil war.
Look at what he's doing last night, as you note, that, more or less salutes that are either QAnon or almost look like Nazism.
You saw the rally in Ohio the other night. Trump is there ranting and raving for more than an hour, and you have these rows of young men with their arms raised.
These crazed, deranged folks who want to impart evil in every facet of our society.
Clearly, this is a literally call to arms.
Literally a call to arms. So that's it. That's what they want to push. They want to say we're going to have a civil war, and we are in the end game. And we have a president who now people are saying, oh, maybe he's lost it. So, and that's because of this today. So this was big news. He's calling out for a person who is deceased today. And I have the White House response to it too. But this was him earlier at an event.
And so many of you know so much about this as well, and you're committed. And I want to thank all of you here, for including bipartisan elected officials like Representative Governor, Senator Braun, Senator Booker, Representative Jackie. Are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here to help make this. And so many of you know so much about this as well, and you're committed.
Check it out again.
And I want to thank all of you here, for including bipartisan elected officials like Representative Governor, Senator Braun, Senator Booker, Representative Jackie. Are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here to help make this.
There, he mumbles through that last part. So that's what he said. So people are calling him out. He said, "Where's Jackie?" She died in a car accident in August. So, and it was a big deal. People knew about it. And he seems to have forgotten, basically. So let me show you the White House response, because they were grilled on it today. Jean-Pierre was grilled on it. Because, like I said, people really paid attention to this one. They think, oh, it's weird when you ask for a dead person. That's something that old senile people do. So she got grilled. I'll play it. I'll play the clip. She doesn't have a great answer for it.
This question of the Congresswoman, and I think we all totally get why she's top of mind. You've made that case pretty effectively. But I think the confusing part is why, if she and the family is top of mind, does the president think that she's living and in the room?
I don't find that confusing. I mean, I think many people can speak to sometimes when you have someone top of mind, they're a top of mind, exactly that. And it is also, if you put it into the context, it's not like it happened outside of context, right? It happened at an event where we were calling out the champions, congressional champions in particular, of this issue, this important issue when it comes to food insecurity, something that this administration has led on from the beginning of this administration, not just across the country, but also globally. You heard him talk about food insecurity last week at the UN and the investments that we have put forward as the United States of America in helping deal with that. Look, he was at an event you all saw, you all watched, which is why you're asking the question, right? Where he was calling out again congressional leaders, a bipartisan leadership that we have seen on this particular issue. And again, he's going to see her family in just 2 days, and she was on top of mind. I mean, I don't. That is, I mean, that is not an unusual scenario there.
Top of mind just about every day, but I'm not looking around for him anywhere.
When you sign a bill for John Lennon as president, then we can have this conversation. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
These moments of confusion are happening with the race.
Go ahead.
Excuse me,
Americans are watching this and are having concerns. What do you say to that? This is a legitimate question. We need to have some answers.
At the end of the
So what do you think about that? The most surprising part to me was the people in the peanut gallery, because it was more, because I know there's the one guy from Fox that asked questions, but it sounded like there was some lady who was asking questions. Who am I to assume gender? But it sounded like a lady asking questions saying that the American people are really concerned. So I don't know. Maybe they are. I don't know how big, I don't know how stories get around. Exactly. But I can tell you this story got around because people were really grilling her about it. They said the American people demand to know why Joe Biden is looking for dead people. And should he be in control of like nuclear codes? 2, do we trust him? And how are we going to bypass Kamala Harris? Because she's kind of worse. And that's what's crazy, is Biden is really mentally unwell because he's old. And sometimes it just happens. And Kamala Harris is actually worse. She seems less with it, less capable of forming complete sentences. So, wow. What an amazing place we're in as a society. This is what we have. And then after that, guess who's after that? Nancy Pelosi, who makes Joe Biden seem young. I think she's even older than he is. Man, government. This is it, though. We live in this kind of world. If you just think of it more like a simulation, then you can think, oh, it's kind of funny, I guess. Like, it's kind of funny that's the guy. That's the most important guy in the whole world. And he's kind of like an old uncle that you make fun of because he's not with it. And he doesn't know where to stand and stuff. Oh, come here, Grandpa. Over here. Yeah, come on. Yeah, just wave. That's what he's like. He should not be in an important job, probably. You would think. He should be collecting his Social Security, maybe playing golf. You can handle that. But yeah, that's Joe Biden. And like I said, people are concerned. So this is a clip of Joe Biden. I don't know if this is from today. I'm guessing it's not. But there's a hurricane now in Florida. If you haven't heard, there is a hurricane in Florida. And there's a video, which I can show you so you can see the death and destruction. There is a bad hurricane in Florida. Joe Biden said this about hurricanes at some point. I'm skeptical that it was today or anything. But it might have been. If it was today, it's crazy. If this was today, it's crazy. But I think that it's something he said probably last year during the vaccination season. But I'm not sure. But just in case you're in the path of a hurricane.
Let me be clear. If you're in a state where hurricanes often strike, like Florida or the Gulf Coast or into Texas, a vital part of preparing for hurricane season is to get vaccinated now. Everything is more complicated if you're not vaccinated in a hurricane or natural disaster hits. Let me be clear. If you're in a state where a hurricane's often strike,
Nothing will slow you down more. Nothing will slow you down more than not being vaccinated when you're trying to get out of town. They might not let you pump gas if you're not vaccinated. So yeah, Hurricane Ian, that's what I'm reading here. I live in California. They make fun of people in California because we're eventually going to all break off into the sea because of some giant earthquake. So they make fun of us. They make fun of people in Florida because they have hurricanes. And that's not cool. And stuff is really flooding. So I have video of that. So hopefully everybody's vaccinated who's in the hurricane's path. We wish the best for everybody in Florida. But hopefully people who moved there from California aren't regretting it because now they have to deal with hurricanes. But I have a few things. I'll show you some video. This is just some video because these are circulating. This guy's crazy. This guy's just insane.
Major high wire hurricane is dominated right now.
That guy's such a badass. That guy's such a badass. Major hurricane high wall. All right. And so, of course, every time. Oh, here's another video. That's all right. You guys don't need to see videos of death and destruction. There is destruction. There's flooding. So there's video of flooding places. Places are getting covered with water. There is tragedy because of the storm, which people want to say every time there's a hurricane that it's because of global warming. And you know that CNN wants to make sure they're running with the global warming narrative at all times. So because there's a hurricane, got to bring up global warming, and Don Lemon kind of gets shut down for it. So here's Don Lemon.
Can you tell us what this is and what effect climate change has on this phenomenon?
Well, we can come back and talk about climate change at a later time. I want to focus on the here and now. We think the rapid intensification is probably almost done. There could be a little bit more intensification as it's still over the warm waters of the eastern Gulf of Mexico, but I don't think we're going to get any more rapid intensification. If you look here, you can actually see, pretty interesting for your viewers, you can actually see a second eye wall forming around the inner eye wall, and that's basically the second eye wall has overtaken the original eye wall, and that should arrest development.
So listen, I'm just trying to get that. You said you want to talk about climate change, but what effect does climate change have on this phenomenon that is happening now? Because it seems these storms are intensifying. That's the question.
I don't think you can link climate change to any one event. Okay. On the whole, on the cumulative, climate change may be making storms worse, but to link it to any one event, I would caution against that.
Okay. Well, listen, I grew up there, and these storms are intensifying. Something is causing them to intensify.
You might work for the Weather Channel.
So this storm is it's a massive one. Its effects are also being felt.
You might work for the Weather Channel, but I lived in Florida, and I can tell you hurricanes are getting stronger. See, that's the thing. One thing about climate change, I'll say, is because I noticed, is if they tell you that things are getting way worse, then you start to think that. So if they tell you, oh, hurricanes are getting stronger, then every time there's a hurricane, you think climate change. But no, it's not true, though. When you look at the data and statistics and stuff, storms haven't really gotten stronger. Sometimes there's more damage because there's more buildings and things than there used to be in the storm's path. So sometimes the financial results are worse. But as far as the actual strength of the actual storms, they haven't really gotten stronger. People say that. And every time there's a strong storm, people say climate change caused this storm. But actually, as a matter of fact, just like that guy from the Weather Channel said, so, well, we can talk about climate change, but you can't say that's why there's this powerful storm, especially this particular powerful storm. You can't say, oh, it's because of climate change. Don Lemon's like, No, what are you talking about? That's what they pay me to say. They pay me to say that. So what are you talking about? I can't say that. You're saying that it's because of climate change. I know you didn't want to say that, but that's what you're saying, right? Because the storms are definitely getting stronger. I'm from Florida. I can tell you. Like they say, fires are the worst ever. Fires aren't the worst ever. All those things they tell you. When they tell you something, you believe it. When they tell you it's getting hotter, then when it's hot, you think climate change. So thinking, oh, it's hot. Like it's summertime, for example. Sometimes it gets hot. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it's hotter than average. Sometimes it breaks records. And sometimes it gets cold, and then they say it's cold because of climate change. Oh, yeah. That also makes things colder. So anyway, that's what's going on with the storm and climate change. Got to talk about, okay. Oh, I told you a prediction I made came true. Okay. So yeah, what I said was going to happen as far as like a credit crisis of some sort that ended up with money printing. That's what happened. The Bank of England today said that they're going to buy bonds because their bond market was broken. Basically, the rates went up so much, just what I was showing you on the last shows. So rates have gone up so much. And nobody wanted to buy British debt because they want to spend so much money and sell something and go into so much more debt that nobody wants it. So rates were rising, which is what happens. And the Bank of England said, okay, forget it. Okay, we're doing QE again. QE, we're going to buy bonds again. Whatever it takes, they said, to stabilize the market. So the Bank of England did it. So it's exactly what I said, that eventually people don't want to buy debt. And who and what is going to happen? The Federal Reserve or somebody is going to step in. So in this case, it was the Bank of England first, but people assume because the Bank of England did it, that the Federal Reserve is going to do it next or soon, or that every central bank is about to start printing money again. So that's what people assumed as a result of what the Bank of England did today, which if that happens, it's extremely, extremely good for cryptocurrency and gold and silver too. So that's why gold and silver were way up today and crypto was up today modestly. But if people start to get it, then people are really, this whole crypto thing is going to have some legs. They're going to try to do this digital currency. Every currency is collapsing. I'll show you. I said this, the title is Endgame, right? This is the end game. So the central banks are going to print money. So in as much as that was a debate where people are thinking, oh, maybe the central banks are really serious about fighting inflation and they're not going to print money anymore. While the Bank of England said, oh, forget that. No, we are printing money again. So QE is back. QE, unlimited, temporary, they say. Unlimited, temporary QE. You want to see what currencies look like? Currencies compared to the US dollar. So this is what people say is every currency will collapse into the US dollar, which is what's happening. And then the US dollar will collapse into Bitcoin or gold or something, or farmland or something that has value that can't be printed to infinity. But if you look at this chart, it shows you all of those other currencies collapsing. So the answer to that, there is an answer to that. People can buy Bitcoin or they can buy gold and silver because their currencies are collapsing. And, or so far, what they've been doing instead, which has been better, is just buying dollars for now. So everybody, all these people, they've been buying dollars. So their currencies have been going down. The dollar has been going up compared to other currencies. But that's when you look at this chart, this is just compared to the currencies. Compared to actual goods and services, the US dollar has gone down too. So this chart would look a lot different if it showed that actually the US dollar has gone down in value all year, because that's what inflation is. And then all of these other currencies went down in value that much further. So being in America is okay compared to being other places. First of all, we have special things going for us, like the US dollar, and like having oil and gas, and like and growing our own food and stuff. We have things going for us. But eventually, the US dollar, eventually all fiat currencies will collapse. And the starting of QE today is an indication of that. It's the end game, basically, which will result in the collapse of all fiat currencies and just higher inflation forever. And the central banks will say, we're going to accept higher inflation, because they have no choice. It's either crash everything or print money. That's their choice. Let everything crash or print money. They're going to print money. And that's going to be good, like I said, for Bitcoin. That's probably what they're going to do, because that's what the Bank of England did. People are talking about this. People are thinking this is an inappropriate use of American history. And you can still donate. I'm looking for 3 special people on this stream to buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. And then I will appear again on YouTube next time. Otherwise, I might just broadcast on Rockfin instead. Never know. Let me show you this. People think that this isn't proper history. Racist bigots think that. But this thing happened and everybody's talking about it. Who is Lizzo, by the way? I don't know who Lizzo is. I have no idea who Lizzo is. But this is Lizzo playing James Madison's crystal flute, apparently. So let me play that. I was thinking of a Bandcamp joke for the flute, and Lizzo, who's fat positive, I believe you would say, or that's what you say about someone looks like that. Oops.
It's crystal. It's like playing out of a wine glass, bitch. So be patient. Bitch, I just twerked and played James Madison Crystal Flute for 18 countries. We just made history tonight. Thank you to the Library of Congress for preserving our history and making history freaking cool. History is freaking cool, you guys. Everybody tell Sasha, bye, bitch. I got a crystal flute now. I'm coming up in the world.
All right. So everybody's talking about that. People think that, like I said, racists and bigots and stuff say, oh, it's inappropriate. I'm here to tell them that's no big deal. She didn't break it or anything. So she did a little twerking, though. And I don't want to make fun of her, because she probably won't live much longer looking like that, to be honest. So, it's cool to be positive and everything, but seriously, she probably won't live that much longer. So don't want to be mean to her. So Lizzo, but be positive, girl, and play that flute. Shine your light bright. Be a bright, shining light. All right, I'm going to check to see if my trick worked and anybody bought me coffees for this show. Let's see. And then I have leftover stuff from the last show too. And then maybe I'll take some questions in the chat. I tried that earlier. And make sure to make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, right? And hit that notification bell so that you're notified of all my streams. Because I did go live earlier today. Normally the show happens at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I got one person who got 3 coffees. So I kind of did it. I was hoping for 3 different people to have messages today. Because the show is to you by portion of the show. And you also get t-shirts too, but the Buy Me a Coffee portion is the portion of the show that's brought to you by. Someone got 3 coffees. James from Baltimore said, thanks for the Robbie Parker. Oh, he said bad acting. Oh, you can't say that. Thanks for the Robbie Parker. Glad I caught it early. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. Slowly got 2 coffees earlier. Said, love your show, Nathan. I'll try to buy you a coffee when I can. Please send good vibes my way. I'm going through health struggles at the moment. Okay, I'm sending good vibes your way. Please send good vibes to Slow Leak, who got coffees and is having health struggles. That sucks. And I think that's it. I think there was Nebula Queen also between the last 2 shows said run ads. Yes, I do have somebody promote. I do possibly have an NFT ad coming in the hopper. Thanks, MJN, who bought 3 coffees between the last show. A simple thanks for what you do. Thanks, MJN. And Lavita bought a coffee yesterday, said thanks to the news today, even though it's all a downer. It doesn't have to be a downer. I just say now, all my titles are apocalyptic though. So, but it's kind of a joke. It's all going to be okay. In a certain sense, things are going to change. And yeah, it is a downer, but things kind of stay the same too. Like nothing ever changes, but things are going to change. They'll be different. Get some Bitcoin, make sure you have some Bitcoin or some silver or gold just for the future. Just you start doing that and then have some dollars too. Also have some dollars because those are also good. Just save them. Be good with them. Probably don't buy any real estate right now. Probably don't buy any stocks or anything. But maybe actually. Because if they start printing money, then. All right. So let's see if there's anything. I can answer some questions in the chat if somebody wants to leave one. And then I'll wrap up the show for today. If you're listening to the podcast, you can catch the Robbie Parker trial by going to, I think the channel address is youtube.com/lifttheveil live. I'm pretty sure that's my current channel address is youtube.com/lifttheveil live. And you can see the show about it. All right. I don't think anybody's asking me any questions, so that's all right. We'll wrap up the show because we already did extra today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Oh, let me check Rockfin because people can also donate there. I forgot. Thanks, Donna Elliott, who says tipping for you the first time because you made me laugh. Oh, thanks. About Lizzie. Is it because I was rude to her though? Because I hate to be rude. All right. Yeah. 1 tip on Rockfin, but yes, you can also tip on Rockfin. Thanks everybody for watching the show and we will see you at the next one. All right. For now, that's what it is.